Thank you. And we are in the middle of the Nune text. So let's just continue with that. We're supposed to have these two practice sessions at the end here. And hopefully we can finish. And then we can open it up for questions and any remaining kind of points. Okay? All right. Done this for time. We just start off again with some of the preparatory elements of the sadhana. In particular, generating refuge in bodhicitta. But first, we can start here with the commitment mudra of the Lotus family. Om Pama Upavaye Soha. Then we visualize doing prostrations of the feet of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. And recite Om Savatathagata Kaya Vaktita Vajra Pranamena Sarvatathagata Vajrapada Bandhanam Karomi. Offering myself totally at all times to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas residing in the 10 directions. Until reaching the essence of enlightenment. I request the Buddhas and great Bodhisattvas to accept me. Please grant me the unsurpassed attainment. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly by my collections of generosity and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all transmigratory beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly by my collections of generosity and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all migrating beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly by my collections of generosity and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all migrating beings. I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach the essence of enlightenment. With perseverance for the welfare of sentient beings due to wisdom and mercy, I take a place in the presence of the Buddhas and generate the mind of complete enlightenment. With a thought desiring to liberate migrating beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach the essence of enlightenment. With perseverance for the welfare of sentient beings due to wisdom with mercy, I take a place in the presence of the Buddhas and generate the mind of complete enlightenment. With a thought desiring to liberate migrating beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach the essence of enlightenment. With perseverance for the welfare of sentient beings due to wisdom with mercy, I take a place in the presence of the Buddhas and generate the mind of complete enlightenment. Okay. So it says here, these may also be recited either in place of or in addition to the above verses. So why don't we just do it once? I go for refuge attaining enlightenment to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. I shall generate bodhicitta for the sake of achieving the welfare of myself and others. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas residing in 10 directions, please listen. For the sake of achieving complete enlightenment, from now on, I shall generate bodhicitta. There's something I wanted to mention here. This thought often comes up, right? So here we say, I shall generate bodhicitta for the sake of achieving the welfare of myself and others. So sometimes one can think, oh, bodhicitta or the Mahayana path is only for others, right? But as it said, it's only the Buddha that has fully achieved the welfare of himself, right? Because it's only by achieving what they say, the Dharmakaya, the omniscient mind of the Buddha, that is what they say, the accomplishing the ultimate aims for oneself. That means developing all your qualities to the highest extent. Okay. Now, why you want to do that is so you can be of utmost benefit for others. But we shouldn't think that, you know, it's like Solomon says, if you want to be happy, practice compassion. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. Okay. So this generating bodhicitta is the best way to achieve the welfare of myself and others. And actually, it's the only way to achieve, to the fullest extent, the welfare of myself and others. Okay. So this is also good, right? Everywhere may the ground be pure, free of roughness of pebbles and so forth. May it be the nature of Vaidurya, right? So Vaidurya, Vaidurya, and a smooth as the palm of one's hand. Here again, uh, thinking that the place you're meditating isn't just the ordinary, but is actually a pure land of the Buddha, and then invoking Savior of all beings without exception, divine destroyer of the intractable legions of Mara, perfect Lord of all things, Bhagavan and Retini, please come here. Normally, you can light 2 sticks of incense, hold them in your hands, and think then at the end, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all the merit field has come to this place. Then the offering prayer. May human and divine offerings actually arrange and mentally created clouds of finest Samatavajra offerings fill the entire space. So here again, all the offerings you've set out, all the offerings that other, places, all the other centers, the other students, the offerings that they've laid out. These then, as you said the mantra, multiply and fill the entire realm of space. Om Namo Bhagavate Vajra Sarapa Madana Tathagata Arahate Samesambhule Tada Om Vajravajama Vajama Vijavajama Vijavajama Ma Bodhicitta Vajama Bodhi Manapasana Kamana Vajra Savakava Avarana Vijadana Vajra Soha Om Namo Bhagavate Vajra Sarapa Madana Tathagata Arahate Samesambhule Tada Om Vajravajama Vajama Vijavajama Ma Vijavajama Bodhicitta Vajama Bodhi Manapasana Kamana Vajra Savakava Avarana Vijadana Vajra Soha Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasarava Manana Talakapaya Arahati Samyasambhuja Tada Om Bhagavate Ma Vajama Vajapasana Ma Bodhicitta Vajama Bodhi Manapasana Kamana Vajra Savakava Avarana Vijadana Vajra So by the power of truth and the fearless abundance, the blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the great wealth of the completely two collections and the sphere of phenomena being pure and inconceivable, may these piles and clouds of offering arising through transformations by the Bodhisattvas, Arya Samatapajra, Manjushri, and so forth, unimaginable and inexhaustible, eagle in the sky, arise, and the presence of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions be received. Hmm. I didn't notice this before. Ecstatic prostration. It's nice. Yeah. Om Namo Manjushri Nama Shushri Nama Uttama Shri Soha. So by the way, you can feel free to stand. Since I only have this small microphone, I'm going to do it sitting. If you know you're doing this on a plane, a train, or automobile, then or otherwise can't prostrate physically full, then you can have your hands in postures and mudra. Om Namo Manjushri Nama Shushri Nama Uttama Shri Soha. Om Namo Manjushri Nama Shushri Nama Uttama Shri Soha. To the Guru, founder Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni, I prostrate make offerings and go for refuge. Please grant me your blessings. To Guru, founder Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni, I prostrate make offerings and go for refuge. Please grant me your blessing. To Guru, founder Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni, I prostrate make offerings and go for refuge. Please grant me your blessings. So, 7 in prayer, reverently I prostrate my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering actually imagined. I declare all my negative actions and and downfalls accumulate since beginningless time. I rejoice in the virtue of all Arya and ordinary beings. Please remain until the end of psychic existence and turn the root of Dharma for migrating beings. I dedicate my own and those virtues to the great enlightenment. So we can do just a short mandala. It's grounded into perfume strewn flowers, adorn Mount Meru, full continent, sun and moon. I imagine this is the Buddha field and offer it. May all migrating beings enjoy this pure land. The object of my attachment, anger, ignorance, friends, enemies, strangers, body and resources, without any sense of loss I offer them. Please accept them well and bless me to be spontaneously free from the three poisons. May the lives of the glorious gurus be long. May all beings equally the extent of space have happiness. May I and others without exception accumulate merit and purify obscurations, and may we be quickly blessed to quickly attain Buddha. Idam Guru Ramanandara Kamarata. Okay. So then, as you know, the normal Nina Sadhana, you take the minor precepts, but doing that, mm, so I'm try to find some meditation on the front generation. Hmm. It just occurred to me. Remember last week we said in the context of the self generation, right? As one is unable to bless the offerings to the merit field while having an ordinary appearance of grasping to oneself, contemplate, right? So this we should do. Those of you who have had initiation, we can do the instantaneous generation. I instantaneously arise as the holy body of the great compassionate one. Again, purifying. And so even those who haven't had initiation, we can use this time to meditate on emptiness, the fact that all phenomena, including ourselves, the deity, the mandala, everything within samsara and nirvana, lack inherent existence. And then those with initiation, we can think that the mind that realizes ultimate reality arises in the form of Avalokiteshvara. Meditation on the front. Om Pamatakrit Hum Pe. Om Sabhava Shuddha Savadana Sabhava Shuddha Hum. The mandala becomes just empty. So we should mention this. Why are they called self-generation and front generation? Self-generation, we ourselves are wisdom realizing emptiness that is arising as a deity. And then, yeah, self-generation. Front generation, because in front, we imagine the deity, the mandala, everything in the space in front of us. So the place where this mandala is becoming just empty. Now, normally we would have the altar set up with all the mandala and the offerings and the statue of Avalokiteshvara and so forth. If you haven't set up your noonday altar this morning, then you can just visualize the mandala is right in front of you. It's the easiest way. Okay. So, Om Sabhava Shuddha Savadama Sabhava Shuddha Ham, the mandala becomes just empty. Just like we did when we did the instantaneous generation, then we recall again. We do this over and over again, recalling the emptiness of all phenomena. Phenomena do not exist inherently. From within emptiness, a white broom radiating 5 colored light rays separates from the free at my heart and comes to rest at the site of the mandala. It transforms into a multicolored lotus on which rests a multicolored crossed vajra. Upon its central hub is the inestimable mansion, composed of a variety of jewels. It is square with 4 doorways and 4 archways. In the middle of that is a petal lotus. At the center of the cushion is a white silver tree, which becomes a white 8-petal lotus as brilliant as refined gold and marked by the syllable Hri. Light rays radiate from it, making offerings to the Arya beings and enacting the welfare of all sentient beings. So in my opinion, it's always good to meditate on that point. So again, making offerings to the Arya beings, we can think of, the traditional offerings of Pad and Pupe, so, the water for drinking, water for washing the feet, flowers, incense, lights, food, music, perfume, everything. Then we can think, even more. Everything that's beautiful and attractive in the universe. So the light rays from the Sri at the mandala space radiate out makes offerings to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all these great beings. And again, every time we make the offering, think that, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas inseparable from our Guru receives them, and the mind that receives the offering experiences great bliss, and that same mind also realizes both the conventional and ultimate nature of the offering. So the conventional nature of, say, the flower is, its beauty, its fragrance, its ultimate nature is its lack of inherent existence. So the Buddhas can see both these levels in one time. Then enacting the welfare here is very good. Specific with the suffering that we know from our other studies. So thinking all the beings in the hot hell, first the environment are extinguished, beings no longer experience the suffering of heat and being burned alive. Also all the various weapons that is used to sort of cut into the flesh and bones of sinning beings or the hell beings. Those are also transformed into flowers or, whatever. That's something pleasant. Uh, beings of the hot hells. So first, all the environment is purified into the pure realm of Buddha. All the intense cold and ice then turns into and all the suffering of the being from the intense cold, also all that gets healed. And then beings become Avalokiteshvara. Then they so intense suffering. It's also food, drink, their hunger and thirst is alleviated. Also into lovely, vibrant gardens. And all beings then in the present realm are transformed into Avalokiteshvara. Then thinking of the animals, all the suffering experience, suffering of being killed, whipped, exploited, and then also the particular suffering of the animals to have low intelligence, then not being able to see, reality, not being able to engage in teachings. So all these sufferings of animals, and purified, so about all of those sufferings of first the environment, all the places with natural disasters, with wildfires, all the places that are torn up by war, and then the environment is completely transformed, and then all the particular sufferings of humans in the desire realm, never being satisfied, always wanting more. And of course, all the physical sufferings of illness and other calamities, all these occasions. And suras still within samsara, therefore, uh, no satisfaction. And these suras and asuras, the gods and demigods, constantly fighting, going to war with each other. And wanting to control others, and then also thinking of how the beings in the higher God realm, when they see that their karmic lifespan is about to run out, they see they are going to again get rebirth in the lower realm. They experience a lot of mental anguish and suffering. So all of these sufferings of the gods and demigods, then completely purified, and will attain the state of Avalokiteshvara. Collect back, and from the light of the 11 faces through white, the right green, right red, and the left white. Above that, the central face is red, the right to white and the left green. They also have long, narrow eyes with smiling expression. Above this is a wrathful black face with red fangs and after wrinkles, a third eye, and orange hair standing upright. On his crown is a peaceful red face with a crown protrusion, having a chaste aspect devoid of ornament, and with its own neck. The first two hands are at the heart and hold a jewel. The second right hand holds a rosary. The third eliminates the hunger and thirst of the hungry ghost by sending down a stream of nectar from the mudra of granting sublime realizations. And the fourth holds a wheel. The second left hand holds a golden lotus with a stem. The third holds a water vessel, and the fourth holds a bow and arrow. Two hands, soft as a Okay. wears garments of various colored silks and radiates rays of white light. In the east, from whom grew Akshobhya, right hand pressing the earth, left in equal poise. Okay, so this is the same posture as Shakyamuni Buddha. Right hand on the knee, draped over the knee like this, and middle finger touching earth. In the south, from Tram, yellow, Ratnasambhava. Okay, so left in equal poise is like this, right? Two hands in equal poise like that. Left in equal poise. And right hand giving the sublime. So that's on the knee, but palm like that. In the west, from Om, white Vairocana, with a mudra of supreme enlightenment. So here you'll see different ones. Sometimes you'll see it like this, middle fingers together, right? But oftentimes you'll see Vairocana with a hand up like this. Is that right? But anyway, this is what is being described here at the heart. In the north, from Green and Moga City, right hand giving refuge. Sorry, that's like this. Right hand giving refuge, left mudra of equal poise. They're also all beautified with precious ornaments and garments of various silks, and seated with their legs in the posture. Okay, so Avalokiteshvara in the center. Then in these four cardinal directions, we have the four Buddhas. Okay, facing inwards. Upon a lotus and moon disk at the heart of the principal deity, that secret, like this. And then later we see this mantra, Samaya Zaza. Yeah. So, Zaza. Beckoning them with the thumbs like this. Okay. Sure, I've been trying to legions of mind, pregnant of all things. Bhagavan, remit me, please come here. Om Ari Lokeshvara Sabara Vaja Samaya Zaza. What do we just do? This first mantra, we invited them. The second deities that we invited to the space then kind of insert into the visualization. They become non-dual with the commitment beings. The commitment beings are the ones we visualized. The wisdom beings are the ones we just invoked. So then, after they are become non-dual, means they become one. Not two, means one. So the crowns of all deities are marked by a white Om, their throats by a red A, and the hearts by a blue Hum. Then, again, light is heart, invoking the empowering. Okay, so just so we know what's going on. Now, more deities come, these are empowering deities, and the five Buddhas with Amitabha as their principal. So these are the ones we just mentioned: Akshobhya, uh, Ratnasambhava, Vairocana, and Siddhi. Now with Amitabha leader, then we present offerings. Om Panchakuta Saparivara Agam Paticha Soha. Om Panchakuta Saparivara Agam Paticha Soha. Om Panchakuta Saparivara Pupe Paticha Soha. Om Panchakuta Saparivara Dupe Paticha Soha. Om Panchakuta Saparivara Aloke Paticha Soha. Om Panchakuta Saparivara Gende Paticha Soha. Om Panchakuta Saparivara Yuve Paticha Soha. Om Panchakuta Saparivara Shabda Paticha Soha. O Tathagatas, please bestow the empowerment upon him. Requested thus, the goddess dressed Tathagata's hearts hold aloft vases filled with and say, just as the gods offered a bath at the time of Buddha's birth, so too do I offer a bath with the pure water of the gods. Om Savatathagata Abhishketa Samaya Shri Ahum. They bestow the empowerment. Thereby the entire body is filled and all defilements are purified. From a transformation of the excess water remaining on the crown, the head becomes adorned with Amitabha on the crown, Akshobhya on the forehead, Ratnasambhava behind the right ear, Vairocana at the back, and Amoghasiddhi behind the left ear. Okay. So, again, if your powers of visualization aren't great, it's okay. But the bottom line is you should just think, okay, now this Avalokiteshvara in the space in front has become fully empowered, and with the water that was then poured, all the body was filled and all the defilements were purified. And then think there's this kind of crown, Amitabha, Akshobhya, Anasambhava, Vairocana, and Amoghasiddhi on his crown. Of course, we're dealing with a generation. Okay, so now that Avalokiteshvara in the front is completely empowered, we then make offerings. So first blessing offering. Om Pamatakrid Hum Pe Om Sabhava Shuddha Sabadama Sabhava Shuddho Ham. From within, empty from food and music, and ensure they have aspect of individual types of offerings and function to bestow special uncontaminated. Amargam Ahum Padya Ahum. Okay. If you know the mudras, when you do this blessing, then at this point you do the mudras along with actually perform offerings. You also do moving. Okay. Om Agam Ahum Padam Ahum Om Pupi Ahum Om Dupi Ahum Om Aloke Ahum Om Gende Ahum Om Gende Ahum means form, sound, Om Rupa Ahum, Om Shata Ahum, Om Gende Ahum, Om Rasa Ahum, Om Spasa Ahum. So here, if you are offering substances, filling space, and offer the two waters, the five enjoyments, and music as well as the five sense pleasures. You may also offer by using other offering garland verses or by just using offering. Okay, thank you. Bit of yeah, my internet dropped. So where were we? Yes. Okay. Om Aya Lokeshvare Sabaravare. So now drinking water. Oh, sorry, water for bathing the feet. Om Aya Lokeshvare Sabaravare Pajam Paticha Soha expands. Om Aya Lokeshvare Sabaravare Pube Paticha Soha incense. Om Aya Lokeshvare Sabaravare Dube Paticha Soha. Clarifying illumination. That's a very literal translation. This means lights. Okay. So butter lamps or lights. Included in this, I've seen, we also talk about jewels because, uh, jewels, when light comes through, it sparkles. Okay. So you can also think of, beautifully, multifaceted jewels. Om Ailokeshwara Sabaravara Aloke Paticha Soha. Perfume. Om Ailokeshwara Sabaravara Gende Paticha Soha. Food. Om Om Ailokeshwara Sabaravara Nide Paticha Soha. Music. Om Ailokeshwara Sabaravara Shata Paticha Soha. So five sense pleasures. So here are the form, right? Visual forms. Om Ailokeshvara Savarvara Rupa Paticha Soha. Sounds. Om Ailokeshvara Savarvara Shakta Paticha Soha. Sense. Om Ailokeshvara Savarvara Gende Paticha Soha. Yes. Om Ailokeshvara Savarvara Rasa Paticha Soha. Intangible objects. Om Ailokeshvara Savarvara Sparsa Paticha Soha. Mm. So offering divine garments. So remember, each of the various offering substances that we offer, it has a little bit different karmic reckoning effect. So yeah, that's why we make a variety of offerings. Okay. So here you have kata. You can hold it up. Here we can do the verse. In order to purify my mind, and so remember, Milarepa was just in his cave, didn't have many of the uh, all the implements and all this kind of stuff. So if you have, great. If you don't have, you can visualize. If you have something, you can substitute. So if you don't have a kata, but you have a nice other kind of scarf, um, you can offer that too. In order to purify my mind, I offer an exquisite precious garment, multicolored like Indra's variegated bow, that when touched becomes the cause of bliss. May I be adorned with the holy garment of patience. Om Vaja Vastaye Aham Soha. Offering ornaments. So again, holding up a beautiful ornament or mala as offering. So here, right, I have a wood mala. It's okay. We have um, a mala. It's okay. Even if it's wood, remember what we do? We visualize it as jewels. So maybe we can do that. And again, not just one, but many. Because the victorious ones are adorned by the natural ornaments of the marks and signs, they do not need any other kind of ornament, but by offering these supreme jeweled ornaments, may all migrating beings achieve the holy body adorned with all the marks and signs. Om Vajra Alam Kara Vapushani Ahum Soha. Offering a vase. So now, oops, I don't have a vase, but it doesn't have to be the nice vase you might get in Nepal, right? Um, at one point, um, at the house, we had gotten some balsamic vinegar, and it was in a nice bottle. It was from Italy, and in a nice bottle with a little thing, and you pour out the balsamic vinegar. So we were using that as a vase. So again, reduce, reuse, recycle. Okay, but at any point, um, that vase, when you start to use it, it should be filled 2/3 of the way. That has a special significance. And as you know, right, you don't offer empty uh, containers of any kind. It's a bit inauspicious. Okay. So here, I don't have a vase, so I'm just going to visualize. By offering this auspicious vase of beautiful jewels filled with essences of the assembly of gods, may all the stains of karma and delusion be purified, and man be imbued with the moisture of bodhicitta. Om Vaja Kalasha Ahum. So, may I say that the good folks at FPMT Education Department have done such a wonderful job with this text, all of these in the small print, a lot of good practice instructions. So normally you would then just take a water drop out of that and think that you have purified all the negative karma and suffering of the 6 realm sentient beings. So here again we have the extensive mandala. Okay, we'll just do the short mandala again. But let's chant the Tibetan. Saji Kin Doi Shin Me To Kari Ra Lin Ji Ni De Gen Pa Di Sangye Shindo Mi De Ruai Roku 시나 제발종 나기 자당 몬순계 유전yen 발순 르당롱 춘식 밤밤에바 무기에 누소랑 사주와 지기로 베드남의 구세덴바 당가냐요라 내기조와당 다이제마르 소사귀장네 유도상계토바 진기로 이당불만다람니르타야미. Your thousand arms are the thousand wheel-turning kings. Your thousand eyes are the excellent eons, thousand Buddhas. I prostrate and offer praise to the Venerable Avalokiteshvara, who shows whatever is needed to subdue those to be subdued. Although the Dharmakaya is inseparable like space, your form bodies are separately visible like rainbows. I prostrate and offer praise to the five families gone to bliss, who have attained mastery over method and wisdom. Okay. So now, remember in the Nune, we have the two vases actually. What's called the action vase. That's the one we perform actions with. We sprinkle the water. Then we have the victory vase. Okay. And that is on the altar. So now we think that through the recitation of these mantras, the water in the vase is becoming completely pure and has then the power to purify all sickness, spirits, negativities, and obscurations of the three doors, body, speech, and mind, along with their imprints. Okay. Streams of nectar descend from the fingers of both the self and front generations, filling the vase with the nectar of exalted wisdom. Okay. 101. It might take a while. Let's take a little bit of liberty and we'll do 21 of the long mantra. Okay. So again, following the advice and example of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, before one does the mantra recitation, it's always good to refresh one's bodhicitta. So again, thinking that, purpose of my life is to benefit sentient beings, and in particular, in order to become enlightened, so we can be of utmost benefit for all sentient beings, we're going to engage in this mantra recitation. So then, at the very least, thinking like that. But then to really think that, every single hell being, every single hungry ghost, every single animal, every single human, every single asura and sura, all the intermediate state beings, every single one of these mantras, we're going to recite for them, for their benefit. Okay. So, you see, in the context of Nune, we're blessing the Vas water. Now, since I don't have a Vas, since I don't think any of you have a Vas, we can take a little bit liberty and say, what we're going to do instead of first like collecting all the nectar in the vase and then distributing to sentient beings, we're just going to instead visualize the nectar is descending from the fingers of the front and self generations, and instead, goes immediately, cutting out the middleman, goes immediately to the sentient beings of the six realms and purifies them. Okay? Oh, Namo Ratnachayaya, Nama Arya Jana Sagara, Vairo Chana Vura Rajaya, Tata Gataya, Arahate Samyak Sambhujaya, Nama Sava Tata Gatebe, Arhatebe, Samyak Sambhudebe, Nama Aya Avalokite Shoraya, Bodhisattvaya, Mahasattvaya, Mahakarunikaya, Tayata Om Dara Dara Diri Diri Duru Duru Iti Bhante, Chale Chale Pachale Pachale Kusume Kusume, Vare Iri Mili Chiti Vala Apanaye Soha, Namo Ranachaya Namas Arya Jana Sagara Varachanaya Vura Rajaya Tathāgataya Arahate Samya Sambuddhaya Nama Sava Tathāgatebe Arahatebe Samya Sambuddhebe Nama Arya Avalokite Shvaraya Bodhisattvaya Mahasavaya Mahakarunikaya Tayata Om Dara Dara Diri Diri Duru Duru Iti Vata Chale Chale Pachale Pachala Kusume Kusume Vari Ili Mili Chiti Jvalam Apanaye Soha Namo Ranachaya Nama Arejana Sagara Varachanaya Buharajaya Tadhagataya Arahade Samesam Buddhaya Nama Sava Tadhagatebe Ahadebe Samesam Buddhebe Nama Aya Avalokite Saraya Bodhisattvaya Mahasaya Mahakarunikaya Tayata Om Dara Dara Diri Diri Duru Duru Iti Chare Chare Pachare Pachare Kusume Kusume Vare Iri Miri Chichi Jvala Apanaye Soha. Okay, we'll do more silent now, so a little bit quicker. Namananja. Namo Narachaya Nama Arya Jana Sagara Varachanaya Ujarajaya Tadakataya Arahati Same Sambuddhaya Nama Sava Tadakati Be Arahati Be Same Sambuddhi Nama Aya Avrutishwaraya Bodhisavaya Masavaya Ma Karikaya Tata Om Darga Diri Diri Duru Duru Iti Vate Chale Chale Pachale Pachale Kusume Kusume Vare Ili Nimi Chiti Zvalam Apanaye Soha. And let's do 2 miles of Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Om Padmasattva Samaya Manupanaya Padmasattva Tenubha Diruneva Sudhagameva Subhagameva Anaragameva Sarvasigameva Jazavakameshigame Shim Shim Kurum Hao Bhagavan Savatadakata Pema Mama Musa Pema Bhava Ma Samaya Sava We think the exalted wisdom beings of the self-generation absorb into the front generation. So then this is the principal practice of praise. Alliteration. Principal practice of praise. Okay. So then, upon a lotus and moon disk at the crown of my head is Bhikshuni Lakshmi dressed as a renunciate. With hands folded at her heart, she intercedes with a merit field on my behalf. So here we imagine that all mother singing beings of the 6 realms are arranged around oneself and are also physically doing prostrations, verbally reciting the praises and mentally going for refuge with intense admiration and respect. Then, together with prostrations, do 21 repetitions of the praise of Avalokiteshvara. So, in practice, I don't know if you've done Nunes before, but I remember at Tushita, since Tushita and Dharamsala, we had a bit of an international crowd. So it was nice. We had people recite in English and then whatever language. Of course, the Sanskrit. I think we had, uh, Hebrew, Spanish, German, Yeah. So again, the words in themselves is great, but the the emphasis is to combine these three types of prostration: the physical prostration, verbally reciting, and then mentally going for refuge. So you would do this 21 repetitions along with the prostrations. So this is takes a little while, and especially on the day after, or the fasting day, um, it can be a little bit of physical hardship. Mhm. Okay, so just for your knowledge, you see in the Tibetan papo, there's this po coming up. So when you see this as the po praise, it's because most of the lines are end in po. So if you wish, now again, for interest of time, and since we're not doing uh, full sadhana in context of Nune, let's just recite this once. But if you wish, you can do prostrations. Om, I prostrate to the protector of the world. You are the guru of the world, praised by the three realms, the one who is praised by the chief of the world of gods, the Mars and Brahma. Praising you, supreme king of sages, fulfills the wishes of beings. I prostrate to the supreme protector of all three realms, holding holder of a noble holy body containing the bodies of infinite ones gone to bliss. Your crown holds the one gone to bliss of infinite light. Your supremely generous right hand dispels the hunger and thirst of the hungry ghosts. Your left hand is perfectly adorned with a golden lotus. You're the one with a flashing yellow-red garland of fragrant top hair. Your face is beautiful like the full moon. Your lotus eyes are exquisite and encompassing. Your fragrant body is pure white, like snow or a conch. You wear clusters of flawless glittering pearls. You're adorned with a beautiful light rays like the red of dawn. Your arms are arranged like a pond of lotuses. You are youthful and have the color of autumn clouds. Your two shoulders are adorned by many jewels. Your palms are as smooth and young as the best of leaves. Your left breast is covered by a mantle of skin. You wear alluring earrings, bracelets, and ornaments. You dwell on a supreme stainless lotus. The surface of your abdomen is as smooth as a lotus petal. You have a sublime golden belt adorned with jewels. You wear a skirt of exquisite cloth around the hips. You have the able one supreme wisdom gone beyond the great ocean. You have collected a multitude of merit to acquire the supreme state. You are the source of constant bliss and the dispeller of aging and disease. You are the triple liberator and display holy deeds to those enjoying space. Supreme embodied being, victor in battle with Mars forces. Your feet are alluring with the sound of golden anklets. You isolate beings from self-interest with the four abodes of Brahma. You move with the swan's gait and like a proud elephant. You fully completed the accumulation and look after the doctrine. You are the one who frees from the ocean of milk and the ocean of water. When whatever man or woman always rises at dawn, respectfully brings Avalokiteshvara to mind, and purely and clearly recites the supreme praise, all their mundane and superabundant needs will be fulfilled in this life and all future lives. Okay, then the concluding ritual, so we would kneel And you know what? I like the chantable version. So let's do that. Page 218. So again, I always emphasize when we request here in the context of requesting to Avalokiteshvara, we always remember the Guru. The Guru is inseparable from Avalokiteshvara. It makes the request a lot more powerful. And then we, in general, there are these words of the request here, right? But of course, in your heart, you can make any kinds of virtuous aspirations. Okay. So chanting goes something like this. O compassionate eyed one, who is the treasure of compassion. I request you, please listen to me. Please guide myself, mothers and fathers, in all six realms to be freed quickly from the great ocean of samsara. I request that the vast and profound fearless awakening mind may grow with the tear of your great compassion. Please cleanse all karmas and illusions. Please lead with your hand of compassion me and my greatest two fields of bliss. Please, Amitabha and Chenrezig, in all my lives be virtuous friends. Show well the undeceptive pure path and quickly place us in Buddha's state. Okay, so so the concluding rituals. Okay, so the torma, it's like the ritual cake. Okay, so the um even the Buddhas like cake. Everyone likes cake. Okay. So, sorry, I'm not being yeah, flippant about it, but trying to demystify. Okay. So in general, it is a type of food offering. And usually when you make it, you mix in various substances. But it is said, if you, can't design the cake, even having a pack of biscuits. Oh, sorry, I'm in India. You guys would say cookies. Okay, cookies. Even having a pack of cookies on your altar is great. It's enough. Um, yeah. So sorry. Even here now, I don't know if you guys know this, but in India, um, Oreo cookies have become quite widespread in the past few years. So Oreo cookies are my favorite, as growing up. Also, I like Chips Ahoy. Chips Ahoy haven't made it here yet. Oreos have. So when I was doing retreat a few years ago, I got all these packs of Oreo cookies and would then offer them. Okay. So in any case, here I don't have set up the offering, Torma, but we can visualize. Mm. So here we have three Tormas actually: the meditation deities, the Dharma protectors, and the local deities who inhabit this place. Okay. Om Pema Turkid Hum Penive. Om Sabavashuddha Sabadama Sabavashuddha Ham. The torment offerings become just empty. From the emptiness, from Boon becomes a vast and extensive precious vessel, inside of which Om melts and becomes a great ocean of uncontaminated, exalted wisdom nectar. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Om Ailokishvara Saparvara Idam Balim Takakakai Kai. Om Ailokishvara Saparvara Idam Balim Takakakai Kai. Om Ailokishvara Saparvara Idam Balim Takakakai Kai. Om Ailokishvara Saparvara Agam. Apajam Pube Jube Aloke. Gende Nide Shata Patisha Soha. Okay, so normally, excuse me, this is just so you guys know, it's best if you have time to do just one and the full one. Om Ailokeshvara Saparvar Agam Patisha Soha. Then Om Ailokeshvara Saparvara Pajam Patisha Soha. But at the end of the session, um, there is this practice where you would just do it all at once, right? Om Ailokeshvara Saparvara Agam Pajam Pube Jube, like that. So, yeah, there's that tradition. But of course, if you have time, it's better to do it, individually like that. Otherwise, it feels a bit like you're almost at the end of the session and you just kind of want to get it over with. So it's a little bit, yeah, a little bit not nice. Your thousand arms are a thousand returning kings, your thousand eyes are the excellent neons, thousand Buddhas. I prostrate and offer praise to the Venerable Avalokiteshvara who shows whatever is needed to subdue those to be subdued. Hmm. So some protective prayers. This again to demystify a bit. This is actually very nice. I prostrate and offer praise to Venerable Avalokiteshvara who shows whatever is needed to subdue those to be subdued. Okay. So just ascending beings have different dispositions, they have different backgrounds, they have different karma. Then sometimes they need to be shown different things to be subdued. Okay. So Avalokiteshvara has countless forms. Yeah. There's a 1,000-arm version, 4-arm version, 2-arm version. Yes. Then those are the peaceful versions. Now there's also more wrathful versions of Avalokiteshvara. And it is said, this one, Mahakala, quick acting Avalokita, right? So Mahakala, although, hold on. Ah, no, I don't have one here. I'm trying to find. Anyway, okay. There's a 6-arm Mahakala. I don't have an image. But anyway, blue in color with 6 arms. And you can see here with snake ornaments, uh, skull cup. So showing a little bit wrathful appearance. But this is, doing whatever is needed to subdue those to be subdued. Okay. So they are, although they might have flames, they might be showing fangs. It is out of compassion. So sometimes, beings need a little bit more wrathful appearance to have their mind subdued. In any case, 6-armed Lord Mahakala. Since this video will be available later, it might be good to do the actual chanting in Tibetan so you can have that as a reference. But of course, it's not just about some words and some exotic language, but good to think about the meaning of the words there, so you have the translation there below. Okay. Hum. Nyuze chene zela cha selo shatun dang che vina yakanen napo chenpo taki shan tab chen chat drugi gengi namba gen yepa chiguk bawa chengwa zin tama dama runi chakdu tro yenpa tepa dani dung se sum deshin shapa shugni chingwa che chakpo shani chewa namba zi chensun drapo utra gendu bar drawa sindu rai le bardu chiwo mikyu gebo age tapten traza migu ngachu dosha chen rinchen te kam ngai ulagen shin le achene toma le zebe terden jachu pala cha sero Sangye tenpa nyampo zunwa dang, kongcho upang nyampo chepa dang. Dacha mpono kodan che nangi, kengen pa che tamche shiwa dang. Chidu nyudu sevdu so, lama gompo ye me la, dani gyube kyalsu chi. Dani senchen tangche gi, nyomo manu sawa sho. Gompo lama ye me la dani gebe kya suchi daso senchen tamche gi bache malu sawa sho lama gompo ye me la dani gebe kya suchi dagi senchen tamche gi nyomo malu sawa sho gompo lama ye me la dani gebe kya suchi daso senchen tamche gi bache malu sawa sho Lama gombo ye me la dani bebe kasu chi daki senchen tamche gi nyomo manu sawa sho gombo lama ye me la dani bebe kasu chi daso senchen tamche gi manu sawa sho Gewa di isera kundu da. Gewe danju maru zumba dan dagi. Gel ken sashin tunken kun. Lama gombo yeme yuji. Now, normally they do the four face Mahakala in English. We got time, right? Okay. Home. And normally you'd be playing the bell for this, okay? Home. Great Bodhisattva who annihilates in a cannibal's form all evil beings, and who destroys the three-storied city. O fearful one, this praise is offered you with great energy and admiration. You who are liberated from this world, and said to have been a Brahmin before, have attained the supreme of all siddhis, and have reached the state of transcendent bliss. Your holy body is as quick as thought, and renowned throughout all the universe, liberator of all worldly beings. In battle you are always the victor. Yamas and Mamo directly praise you. You wear a blue silken upper garment. Your manifest body is at one time most beautiful, yet still it horrifies. Wherever you look, your eye terrifies, and brings all beings to humility. Your eye bestows the highest of siddhis. You lead countless beings to wisdom bliss. O compassionate and courageous Lord, I constantly offer praises to you. Then Palamamo, so a female enlightened being, the personal protector of the Dalai Lamas. Okay. So requesting the four activities, you'll see the activities of peace, increase, controlling, and wrathful. Okay. Joe. Seni chene na shi kepani, seni guna me chin sen kya me, dunda ye me kado su kya me, zu tu gyu ma sam tu ran gi sen, tenpa shi ve pe la mo, shi ze shi gyu shi ve ma zu chen. Shive korgi korve somoni, kaki pudo kamo shindu da. Kundu shize mala chasele, kagi ne dumba je shiwazi. Semi chinle nam shi kepani. Seni guna me jin sen kya me, dunda ye me kado su kya me, ju ju gyu ma sam du dan gi sen, tenpa ge be pe la mo, ge ze ge yu ge be ma ju chen, ge be kor gi kor ve so mo ni. Taki kudo semo shinduki, kuntu geze mala chaselo, taki sedan sunage bazu, seni chine na shike bani, seni guna me jin sen kya me, Dunda ye me kado zu kyame. Zutu yuma sandu rangi san. Tenpa tenpa wangi pelamo. Wangzi wangyu wangdi wangzu chen. Wangi korgi korwe sormoni. Tagi gudo mamo shindu cha. Kundu wanzi mala cha zero. Kansu chen sen chen tam che wang du du. Sen li chen le na shi ke bar. Sen li gu na me chin sen kya me. Dun da ye me ka do zu kya me. Zu tu gyu ma san du rang gi san. Tenpa tenpa tra pu pe la mo. Tra zi tra yu tra pu nga zu chen. Tra pu gong yi go we so mo ni. Ta ki ku do na mo shin du nga. Kun tu tra zi ma la cha zi lo. Ta ki ne dun tra ge tra pu do. Jo. Kyu gi wa shin chi ya ma ju kyang. Gi ta zen ni chi ya na wa yi. Chin le nam shi jo dun ze ba la. Ta gi de de ra gu tu gi na. Ta kya le chi wa shin lun ju te. Kyu ta jo we dun na sun ba jo. So I'm looking at the time. So let's do this quick. Praise the Kala Rupa. Kala Rupa is yeah, known to be associated with yeah, Lama Tsongkhapa, and also known as a emanation of Manjushri. So sometimes we'll do this in English now, and sometimes for the protective prayers they do very quickly. Okay, and this one especially. O Kalarupa, with magnificent wrathful body and godly human heads, with mouths dripping blood, hangs from your shoulders, I praise you who destroy the arrogance of Mara's obstinate forces. I offer melodious Vajra sounds of a great uproar, and a torment complete in all its parts, portions of tea and liquor, the minced flesh of hindering enemies, and fish, all adorned with oceans of blood and fat. Okay, by the way, take that as a symbolic meaning. There's a very deep symbolic meaning of all those things. Okay. Uh, yeah. To you who crushes into dust the worst of hindering enemies to harm the doctrine of the Tathagata, and who from now on will destroy the fears of sickness, aging, and death of us practitioners, I praise you. Bearing fangs is dazzling, white as Venus, your opponent destroying eyes dart like lightning, with pores blazing like the great fire at time's end, you burn all hindering forces, I praise you. Lord of all female cannibals, Shamundi and the rest possessing the great splendor of sunlight, when you shout Ja to accomplish your activities, you destroy the cunning fox-like hinders, I praise you. You are relied on like a hat by the heads of all spirits. Angry mouth of your buffalo face gapes open and shakes the great earth with a wailing tempest. Holder of a skull club born from Yah, I praise you. One of your retinue rides a buffalo with sharp horns and hooves, and another is on a black whirlwind, Shakali, Shinje, Betma, and others surrounded by a retinue of spirits of the three realms, I praise you. You with glorious qualities, fiercely laughing, ha ha, accept offering of drinking water and the rest, and incessantly carry out the promise you made before the glorious Yamataka. Whom, protector, risen from the syllable Vi, arises on a fearless line seat, is resting, precious and powerful. I bow to you, Lord of the eight stages. To you, four princesses, eight harm-giving yakshas who do special tasks, and eight great wealth-granting nagas, along with your retinue of eight classes of gods and cannibals, I make offering praise and prostration, destroy my enemies and hindrances without exception, bring about the perfect enjoyment of wealth, fulfill my desires as I wish, and spontaneously achieve the welfare of others. Offering Torma to the Dharma protectors, Om Akaro Mukam Sarva Dharmanam Adya Nutpana Tvata Om Ahum Pe Soha, Om Akaro Mukam Sarva Dharmanam Adya Nutpana Tvata Om Ahum Pe Soha, Om Akaro Mukam Sarva Dharmanam Adya Nutpana Tvata Om Ahum Pe Soha, Om Dakini Shri Dhammapada Sabharvara Agam Pajam Purve Dvipe Aloke Gende Nuge Shabda Pratisha Soha. Dakas and the Kinis and guardians of Dharma protect the white side. Please accept this Torma offering endowed with five sense pleasures and help the teachings to flourish, my greatest have happiness, and the goals of myself and others to be fulfilled as we wish. So, this is worth mentioning. So, the Torma offering to the local deities. So, the local deities, they aren't enlightened beings. They are just, you know, we call them mundane protectors. So, whereas the enlightened protectors and Buddhist bodhisattvas, they're very understanding. We're traveling, we don't have the full altar set up, we don't have the torma, so we say, okay, we're visualizing. Nice. But I wonder, you know, these local deities, if we say, hey, come enjoy this torma, and we don't have one, if they'll be like, what the heck are you talking about? And they might be a bit disappointed in us. So maybe we'll skip over that. So next, offering ablution. This is the bath offering. There's an extensive ritual with that. Here is abbreviated. Okay. Here we can, again, we'll go back to visualization. Okay. So think that, the Vas, we're going to be offering a bath to the Buddhas. So we think there's a very nice bathhouse. Visualizing the bathhouse and extremely sweet fragrance, crystal floor, and beautiful sparkling jeweled pillars. The roof is covered by a canopy decorated with shining pearls. Just as the gods offer a bath at the time of Buddha's birth, so I too offer a bath with pure water of the gods. By offering ablution to the protector Avalokiteshvara, the lamp of migrators, with a stream of fragrant nectar, may all stains of the two obscurations of migrators be cleansed, and may they be the good fortune to acquire the stainless three bodies. Om Savatatagata Aya Lokeshvara Saparivara Abhishketa Samaya Shriya. So here they do, more extensively, but we'll just skip all that. Then we dry, we bathe Avalokiteshvara, and then we dry with a fragrant, beautiful cloth. Om Hum Tram Shri A. Om Savatatagata Aya Lokeshvara Saparivara Kaya Vishvadana Yesoha. Here again, offering garments and ornaments. In order to purify my mind, I offer an exquisite precious garment, multicolored like Indra's variegated bow, which when touched becomes a cause of bliss. May I be adorned with the holy garment of patience. Om Vajravaste Aham Soha. Because the victorious ones are adorned with natural ornaments of the marks and signs. They do not need any other kind of ornament. By offering these supreme jeweled ornaments, may all migrating beings achieve the holy body adorned with all the marks and signs. Om Vajra Alam Kara Vapushani Ahum Soha. By offering this auspicious vase, beautified by jewels and filled with various essences, may all the stains of karma and delusion be purified, and may we be imbued with the moisture of bodhicitta. Om Vajra Kalasha Ahum. Out of your loving compassion for myself and migrating beings, O Bhagavan, please remain through the force of your miraculous manifestations for as long as we continue to make offerings due to these virtuous actions of mine. May I become a Buddha in this world. May I give Dharma teachings in order to benefit migrators, and may I quickly free sending beings who are tormented by many sufferings. In all my rebirths, may I belong to a good family, be clear in mind and free of pride, have great compassion, respect for my gurus, and abide in the pledges of Avalokiteshvara. Avalokiteshvara, whatever body, your retinue, lifespan, realm, and so forth, whatever supreme and excellent name, may I and others become only like that. By the force of the praises and requests made to you, may all diseases, evil spirits, poverty, and quarrels be calmed. May the Dharma and good fortune increase in the regions in which I and others dwell. May the precious mind of Supreme Bodhicitta who have not yet arisen arise and grow. May that which has arisen not diminish but increase more and more. So we'll just do this. Yeah, once. Om Pamasapa Samaya Malapalaya Pamasapa Tenaba Tidameva Sudakameva Supakameva Anatameva Savasitameva Savakama Sujimi Shim Shim Kurum Hao Bhagavan Savadakata Pema Manunsa Pema Bhavama Samaya Sapa. O greatly compassionate Bhagavans, please pay attention to me. Since we are beginners and under the influence of drowsiness and excitement, our concentration has not been clear. Our mantras have been incorrect, and we have made additions and omissions to the ritual. Having scarcely cleaned the soul on, I request you, great compassionate Aryas, to forgive us. Please do not allow these to obscure us. And then we would take the vase nectar, if we had one. After that, we arise as the commitment being. So then, we had, if you had visualized yourself as thousand arm Avalokiteshvara, at the end of the session, then you go into a more simple form with one face and two arms. So then, dedication. Due to these merits, may I quickly become the great compassionate one and place all migrating beings without exception in that very state. So here then, we request the deities to reside or depart. Okay, front generation is drawn mandala, stone powder, heaps of substances. So what do we have? We have none of the above. So although we did, yeah, let's say we thought it was a drawn mandala, like a picture. Okay. Actually, this is probably better. Om. You enacted the aims of all sentient beings and bestowed the appropriate attainments. Though you depart to the Buddha land, please return here later. Om Vajra Mo. Then we think that the exalted wisdom beings depart to their natural abode, and the supporting and supported commitment beings melt into light and dissolve into me. So these are the beings who have visualized in space in front. They dissolve into you. So there are these auspicious verses from the retreat. Let's just do the last one. By the auspiciousness of whatever signs of virtue exist for the inestimable mansion composed of hundreds of jewels, variegated like a rainbow, broad like the path of immortality, the Patala Palace, beautified with various ornaments, May all your inauspicious signs be exhausted, and happiness and goodness increase like a waxing moon. May there be, may there be the auspicious of enjoying the glory of perfection. And then do just for a long life of holiness. In the land encircled by stone mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good, all powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso. Please remain until samsara ends. Okay, so there's a lot. There's a lot. It's ambitious to go through the Nirnaya Sadhana in 2 weeks, but later I hope you will all be able to do the practice, and then some of those little hints I gave you will make more sense, I hope. So I wanted to leave more time for questions, but well, there's a lot of things I want that don't happen. So if there are a few questions, we can maybe address now.
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
So Lama Zopa Rinpoche has given the empowerment for forearm Chenrezig and said that it was fine to do Nunye on the basis of that. So do you
Mm-hmm.
visualize differently?
So different people would say different things. So, okay, if you have had a high yoga tantra initiation, then you could still visualize yourself as any deity of a lower class of tantra. So then you'd be all fine. If you have only received uh, forearm Chenrezig and not a higher class of tantra initiation, then probably it's safest to visualize the self-generation as forearm Chenrezig. Now, there is a, if you want to get technical, you'd have to know whether that forearm Chenrezig empowerment was a full Wang or a Jinan. Do you remember?
It was a Wang.
Okay. So then you probably would be okay to visualize, because if you have a Wang in the Kriya Tantra, then you can visualize yourself as a deity of any um, one of that class or lower. Yeah. So probably it's okay. Yeah. Now, as long as the Dalai Lama bestows the thousand arm Chenrezig empowerment a lot, so it'd also be good to seek out those opportunities. Okay.
Another question that's quick.
Mm-hmm. Please.
Has to do with the cloud offering mantra and
Mm.
then the extensive power of truth.
Yes.
um, I had read somewhere that the cloud offering mantra it just offers when you chant that, but the power of truth you have to have visualization in order for it to. Is that incorrect or?
So we've read the same thing. We've read the same thing. Um, yeah, it seems that that offering cloud mantra is amazing because you don't need particular um, visualization. Now, I think, hold on. I think we talked about this before, right? Right. Okay, let me do another screen share. You see this? So the minute you remember this mantra, you gain the benefit of having made offering to all the Buddhas abiding in 10 directions, equaling the number of atoms of the grains of sand in the Pacific Ocean. So it seems, right? Now remember, so of course, when you recite it, and then you receive the benefit of having made offering of flowers, incense, garlands of flowers, ornaments, and so on, to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas abiding in 10 directions as above, right? So just by the the benefits as are explained here, it seems you don't have to visualize all the incense, flowers, ornaments, downward robes, umbrellas, blah blah blah, right? But you get the benefit. The other one with the power of truth, yeah, maybe you need to have it visualized. Anyway, I remember Lama Zopa Rinpoche saying that talking about the benefits of this mantra, and then saying you have to memorize it. And if a day goes by when you haven't sort of recited the mantra, there's a great loss. Think of these benefits. So, when we do like offering of food before we eat, so many. Okay, by the way, you should be doing that if you're not already. The very simplest way is like Om Ahum Om Ahum Ahum, and then drink. Visualize a Buddha, Guru Buddha at your throat, and then as you drink, then also partakes and experiences great bliss that realizes emptiness. Okay, fine. That's great. And normally we do Om Ahum Ahum and then Lama Sangha Lama Chadiji Lama Gente Kunija Valamate Lama Nan Chababu. Okay. But you could do the offering cloud mantra, right? Rinpoche did this before he ate food. Doing that, and then the food, mountains, and visualization, and offering to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions and all that comes very skillful means. Okay. So, Shanti.
Uh, Thank you, Venerable. So my question is that in Foundation of All Good Qualities, there's this verse which says, uh, um, then when I have realized exactly the vital points, and it says, am enjoying the yoga 4 sessions with effort without being distracted, into brackets, by non-meditation objects. So what is non-meditation objects? I don't know if you covered this, Venerable, but I was just wondering. It's on page 252 of the prayer book.
This translation has become new. So, so when you say the prayer book,
the latest 2020 edition
of
retreat prayer book. (252) Foundation of All Good Qualities.
Okay, so okay, so share that. So Shanti is asking about this. Then when I realized this is Foundation of Local Qualities written by Lama Sakapa. Then when I realized the vital points of the two sage essence of tantric sets, and I am enjoying the yoga of 4 sessions with effort, without being distracted by non-meditation objects. Please bless me to accomplish these according to the teachings of the holy beings. Okay. So you'll see the non-meditation objects is in brackets. So that's a kind of added. But when we look at this is now talking about the actual Vajrayana practice. And so we normally do it in 4 sessions a day, right? So tun shi neljor ch. So tun is session, shi is 4, neljor is yoga, ch is the conduct. Or we could say, yeah, here they're saying like the activities, right? Miyawar is, yeah, not being distracted. So, of course, you can think about it in just a very literal way. Whenever you're meditating, whenever you're doing your sadhana, you're cycling through different meditation objects. So we do the front generation, we do, generation stage, we do offerings, we do this and that. So while you're doing those 4 sessions, while you're doing your meditation, not to be distracted by anything that's not like relevant and uh, related to that sadhana, your practice. Okay.
Thank you, Venerable.
Mm.
Can I ask one more quick question on the cloud
Please.
mantra? So when you do your water bowls, I've always learned you ring the bell while you're doing the cloud offering mantra. And the bell means a couple of different things in different contexts. In this one, because you usually only do 7 bowls, is it the offering of sound, or is it a reflection on emptiness, or is it both?
So primarily it's music. You're offering music. Yeah, but if you can keep in mind that what you're offering is also empty, that's great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So here we are, huh? This is the last practice session of the last module of discovering Buddhism. So amazing. We started years ago. We made it. Quite something. So we will send out some questions for kind of self-assessment, and we'll try to schedule some interviews. We can talk. Yeah, the 14th module about the kind of other practices, which include doing 100,000 prostrations, 100,000 vajrasattvas, all that. Then that material is available in the PDF that has been sent out to you. So if you feel so motivated and encouraged, it'd be great to do. If you don't feel motivated and encouraged, it's also great to do. So anyway, I wanted to thank again Mary Ellen, Lors, everyone from Ocean of Compassion Center, and for all your hard work over several years in putting together this program. All the students who came, and then here in this session, I don't see anyone who came through the Land of Medicine Buddha portal, but I'm sure they are going to watch this video in their own free time. And so thank you to all of them. Also Rami for helping to organize from Land of Medicine Buddha side. So we will see you some other time in some other context. Yeah, hopefully in the same body. Okay. And yeah, be well. Take care. Namaste.
We'll just offer a mandala at the end. So. Saji puki ju shing me tok dram ri rabling ji ni de gen badi sang ye jing du me te uai droku nam dak shing la je pa shok Jetsu Lama Kuterapten Jingnam Katrin Le Jotur Gepada Lozang Tempe Drome Sasungi Koe Mun Sel Taktu Negyushi Idam Guru Rana Mandala Kamniyatayami. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Venerable Namjal.
Thank you,
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone.
Urs. Thank you, Mary Ellen.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.